Hello, everyone. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Rob Brown, and I get to serve as the building principal at Grandview Heights High School. Well, here we are. For those of you that saw the board meeting on Saturday or you've seen the notes, you'll know that we are beginning the school year August 17th, and we are going to do so in our distance learning model. This isn't where we thought we'd be at this point. This isn't where we want to be at this point. This isn't where any of us want to be at this point, but it's where we are. And so it's really time for all of us to come together and focus on the things that we can do versus the things that we can't do. With challenge comes opportunity. And I have no doubt, I mean it when I say, I will look in the camera when I say to you, this is going to be an amazing school year. This is going to be a great school year. At the high school, we are going to run an 8-period day, just like we would, very similar to what we would do in a traditional normal setting. But the courses will be a little shortened. They'll be about 30 minutes apiece. We know that distance learning is difficult for students. Therefore, as we reflected upon the spring and what went right and what didn't go so right, we know that we have to build that time in for student support. Therefore, from 8 a.m. to 8:30 every morning is going to be time for student supports, for some individual small group, much like teachers would do before school on a traditional setting. 8:30 to 1:30 will be our 8-period schedule with a couple of minutes between each period for students and teachers to kind of gather their thoughts and collect for the next period. This includes a lunch period in the middle of the day, just like it would in a traditional setting. From 1:30 to 3, that time will also be used for student supports, and that can look a number of ways. That can be small group support, that can be individualized support. We're even looking at using some of that time for clubs and activities, because we know how important that connection, those social connections are to school. Distance learning is going to look a little bit different than it did in the spring. If you recall, in the spring, that was more of an emergency remote learning situation that came about abruptly without warning. Also came about after students and teachers had spent 3 quarters in person together, and it really was just that last quarter. So this is going to be a little bit different. The content and pacing certainly won't be what it would typically be in a traditional classroom, but the curriculum won't vary as much as it did this past spring. Students will have options. There will be a mixture of projects and live streamed classrooms and different creative learning environments. But grading won't be too much different than it would be in a traditional setting. So really, we are moving away from that emergency remote learning to full online schooling, at least to begin the year. At the high school level, this is going to look a little bit different depending on content area, grade level, whether it's an honors course or an AP course. And there's a host of other variables. Clarity is important. So we are working on ways to make it easy for students and families to know what's expected, what is due, how can I check grades, how can I communicate with my teachers. More information on that will be coming very soon, but we are working hard on ways to make sure that families have a cheat sheet, so to speak, on knowing how to log in and what to do and how to help students. And same thing for students, making sure that the clarity is there. Because each teacher is going to be doing something a little bit differently. That brings me to supports. Teachers understand the challenges that are posed and the difficulty that most students have with distance learning. Students, your teachers will work with you to meet your needs, not just academic, but meet your needs and to give you multiple ways to interact with the learning. We also understand that the high school years present many challenges for students, and really this pandemic has only added more layers to that. I want to assure everyone that our student services department is there for them, regardless of traditional or hybrid or distance learning. They are there and they want to help, and it doesn't matter what your social, emotional, or mental health need is. It doesn't matter why you're struggling, what you're struggling with. They're there for you. Please feel free to reach out to Mr. Stork at brian.stork@ghschools.org. And it doesn't matter why you're struggling or what you're struggling with. We're here for you. And it doesn't have to be Mr. Stork. It doesn't have to be me or even any of your teachers. Any trusted adult, please reach out to any trusted adult. There's no shame in struggling. We're all struggling right now. I'm struggling. People I talk to, everyone is really having a difficult time. This is different. This is challenging. There is no shame in struggling. But we need to know. So please reach out if you're having a hard time, and we will find you the supports that you need. We're also continuing our additional supports through Sentaro. And we have an amazing Sentaro person. Her name is Tori, and she will help work with students and families. She's a great resource, and she can also get you the outside help that you need if that's a situation that you're in. Students, we understand that for most of you, this is not your preferred learning style. We understand, and we understand that this is going to be challenging. Teachers are there, they're going to support you, but there are also some things that you can do to support yourselves and to make this better as well. The first thing I highly recommend is develop a routine. Routines are important. Routine for school, for physical activity, for hobbies. Have a schedule, build those times in, and stick with it. And that routine will develop, and it'll make this a whole lot easier. Next, communicate. If you are struggling, reach out to teachers, any trusted adult. Not responding is not an option. We know this is hard, but not responding is not an option. If a teacher reaches out to you, if you're not completing your work and a teacher can't get a hold of you, we have to try your parents. I have to try your parents. Not responding is not an option. We have to make sure that you're okay. We don't get to see you every day. We have to make sure that you're okay and that you're getting the support you need. Communicate with us. Next, take care of each other. We need to support each other with understanding and empathy now more than ever. Check on your friends, lift each other up, and do so in a way that is not judgmental. Check your email. Students, we know how you feel about email. It's probably the same way we feel about email. But it is really the only way, the best way that we have right now to communicate with you. Don't let those pile up. Same thing with Schoology. Check those every single day. Those are important. That's the method of communication. Students, your voice matters. You are amazing at being creative and standing up for what's right and overall just making our school a great place. None of that changes in a remote setting. Your voice matters. Get connected. That's the other thing. Get connected. Join something. I know it's not the same in a virtual setting, but remember that the goal is for this to be temporary. So get involved in something. That the connection to school beyond academics is so important. And all of you are so involved in things. I don't want that to change. That shouldn't change in a remote setting. This is an opportunity to maybe create something different, or things may look different for a while, but please get connected and join something. That is so important. Finally, and no, this isn't a repeat. It's going to sound repetitive because it's important, and I keep repeating it. Understand you have supports. Those supports are there. Your teachers care about you. I care about you. Everyone at that school cares about you. Reach out. Don't assume that we know you're struggling, because we may not. Reach out to us. Communicate with us. Reach out to that trusted adult. Know those supports are there. You can always contact me. I will be available for any of you anytime. Reach out to someone. I know that beginning the school year in a distant setting is disappointing. It's disappointing for all of us. It truly is. We want to bring students back to the classroom as soon as possible. That remains our goal. In-person classroom instruction is critically important for child development. We know that is the preferred method of learning for many of you. We are committed to doing this in the safest way possible for all. For now, we're going to focus on the things that we can do. Remember, with challenge comes opportunity. As long as we are in a remote setting, I will make videos like this one once a week that provide information and updates, and I don't want there to be any surprises. And remember, clarity is something that's going to be very important throughout this whole process. For now, have a great day, Bobcats. I look forward to seeing all of you very soon. I almost let the whole video go by without putting in the star. For those of you that are new, freshmen, Last year, when I was making videos in the spring, I had a helper, my bulldog Gompers. After I put Gompers in a couple of videos, I started to get email feedback from both students and parents, and the feedback went something like this: more Bulldog and less Mr. Brown. So here he is. He's going to help me again this year. Whether he wants to or not.